Hey everyone, I'm Steve Bryant, and this is Everyday AI with Steve, where we break down AI in a way that's practical, fun, and easy to use. If you're new here, we explore technology, AI, and other tools that are shaping the world around us. And wow, are things moving quickly, especially when it comes to a specific type of AI called generative AI. In fact, some of you may have heard of a generative AI tool called ChatGPT. ChatGPT has been around for a few years now and continues to improve at an almost monthly, if not daily, pace. Yet, despite its widespread use, many people either haven't heard of it, haven't used it, haven't tried it, did try it and didn't like it, or aren't even sure where to start. So that's what we're going to talk about today. But first, we have to ask the big question, and that is, why should you care? Well, think of it like this. If you don't use the internet or a mobile phone in today's world, you're at a huge disadvantage compared to those who do. In the same way, if you're not leveraging AI tools like ChatGPT, you could be falling behind. Before we dive in to how to use it, let's talk about what it actually is. ChatGPT is a type of AI powered by something called a large language model, or LLM for short. What's an LLM? Well, in its simplest form, it's an AI tool that finishes sentences. Let me show you what I mean. Here's a quick experiment. I'm going to say a word, and then I want you to think of the next word in the sentence that comes to mind. Ready? Roses. What comes to mind? Chances are many of you thought of the word are. And if I kept going, you'd probably continue with the word red. And from there, you might finish the sentence with violets are blue. So I gave you an initial phrase, or in this case, a word, which is referred to as a prompt, and you completed it. That's how large language models work. They predict and generate text based on learned patterns from a lot of data that they've seen before, and they complete the sentences. This behavior might seem human-like at times, but beneath the hood, it's all computer science and math. The good news is you don't need to understand the inner workings to use it effectively. So let's take a closer look at ChatGPT, starting with where can you get it? Well, you have a few options. First, you can go to OpenAI's website, chat.openai.com, and use it straight from your browser. Next, there's an official ChatGPT app for iOS and Android, which you can download from your respective app stores. Finally, if you're using Microsoft Edge, ChatGPT is already integrated into Copilot, and there are dedicated apps for both Windows and Mac OS. In terms of pricing, the free tier is great for casual users and those who just want to experiment. The plus tier, which is the tier I'm on, at the time of this recording is $20 a month, and it gives you access to more advanced models, faster responses, and better performance during peak times. Finally, there's a pro plan, which at $200 a month is more for power users, corporations, and researchers. So for today, we'll focus on the free and plus plans since those are most relevant to most users. Now that you have ChatGPT, what can you actually use it for? And the short answer is a lot. Here's just a quick overview. Writing and brainstorming ideas, emails, essays, marketing content, anything you might want to proofread or create, learning and research, summarizing articles or books, explaining ideas and concepts, language translation, or even helping to learn a new language, playing games, and helping with productivity, scheduling, meal planning, etc. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. The real magic happens when you start using it in ways that you've never imagined. But instead of just listing things, let's jump into a few thought-provoking examples. Okay, so let's look at a few examples. Here, we're going to ask ChatGPT to write a letter to our water company because we have a leak, and we'd like to see if they will help us detect the leak and if maybe there's a refund that they might be willing to give us. Let's see how ChatGPT handles this for us. And as you can see, that quickly, it has drafted an email that you can now revise or change and send to your water company. Let's look at a second example. And in this case, what we want to do is have ChatGPT explain a complex concept. In this case, we're going to ask it to explain CRISPR, which is a gene editing program. Notice that it first gave me a simple explanation, but even with this, I'm now able to ask a follow-up question and get more details. Now notice in its example, it still keeps it simple so that I can understand it. I don't need to have a degree in gene splicing and editing in order to understand this explanation. Now that we've looked at some examples, there are some important things to keep in mind. Just like with the internet, you should assume that anything you share with AI tools like ChatGPT can be retained and used for their future learning, especially if you're using the free versions. So a good rule of thumb is this. If it isn't something that you would leave on a piece of paper in a coffee shop or shout out loud in public, then you might not want to share it with ChatGPT or any of the LLMs for that matter. You do have a little bit more control with the paid versions, but even there, it's worth reading the privacy policies carefully. This is why some companies have outright banned their employees from using public AI models. The second issue is one of trust. You have to treat ChatGPT like a small child. It might tell you what you want to hear rather than the truth. Or think of it like a new employee who doesn't always know the right thing to say or do. So always approach it with a mindset of trust but verify. For example, if you tell it, I have a weird mole on my arm, take what it says with a grain of salt and confirm everything with a health professional. Today, we've only begun to explore what ChatGPT can do, and the possibilities are constantly expanding. And ChatGPT isn't the only LLM out there. We'll be looking at others too. So that wraps up our introduction of ChatGPT. And if this video helped you to understand ChatGPT a little better, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe, share the video with others, and drop a comment below. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode. Bye-bye.